What is up, my internet friends and family? I'm Charmx, and today What is up, my internet friends and family? I'm Charmx, and today I'm gonna be reacting to 10 April Fool's pranks that went horribly wrong by all-time 10s. Now, April Fool's just passed like a week or so ago, and I really didn't do anything for it. I never really do anything for April Fool's. I mean, I got better things to do than prank people. Actually, I mean, pranking people is quite fun. I normally hide so that when my mother opens the door when she's coming in, I jump out and scare her. That's like the highlight of my days. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. The original link's in the description. Make sure you go subscribe to All Time 10s. That link's also in the description. And with that being said, let's begin.
Ten more April Fool's pranks that went horribly wrong. Number 10. Google mic drop.
What?
For April Fool's 2016, Google introduced a feature to Gmail that gave users the option to not just send an email, but send plus mic drop. This would attach this GIF of a despicable me minion to the email, and then stop the sender receiving any of the replies to the message.
I remember that happening, actually. Yeah, that was last year. I remember that happening.
As the GIF was supposed to represent them having the last word. This may seem like a harmless enough idea, but it didn't go down quite the way Google expected. Many users clicked the button by mistake, as it was located right next to the real send button. This led to the GIF being sent in highly inappropriate situations, such as this message of condolence from a funeral home. One man even claimed to have been fired as a result of it.
From a funeral home? No, that did not go so well. They should have made it an option to add the mic drop, not send it and then add the mic drop. They should have had the option to add the mic drop and then the option to delete it, because that... Oh, wow.
Prank. He was a writer who'd sent some articles to his boss, but never received her feedback and therefore missed a crucial publication deadline. In the end, Google disabled the feature and released a statement apologizing. Number 9. Alien invasion. You'd think that a newspaper article describing an alien invasion on April 1st wouldn't be taken seriously. But no. In 2010, the Al Ghad newspaper ran a prank article saying that a UFO had landed near the town of Jafar in Jordan, flown by 3-meter-tall creatures. It claimed that communication networks had been severely damaged, and that townspeople were fleeing in mass panic. The town's mayor Mohammed Malahan was fooled by the fake story, and immediately dispatched security forces preparing to evacuate the town's 13,000 people.
Oh my goodness.
Schools were also closed, as many parents refused to let their children leave their houses. The newspaper was forced to release a statement saying they'd made the alien invasion up. Al Ghad's managing editor, Musa Bahoumeh, apologized for any inconvenience caused, saying they were simply having some good-natured fun. The mayor didn't quite see the funny side, however, and sued the paper for an undisclosed amount, blaming them for the chaos caused. Number 8.
Oh, wow. I think I've heard of a news station doing something similar to that, and it caused, like, mass panic. That's never a good idea.
On a cliff edge. Another prank that fooled a surprising amount of people was a simple one conducted by a radio DJ from Brighton, England in 2001. The DJ told his listeners that a replica of the Titanic was going to be visible off the coast of East Sussex, which was a total lie. Hundreds of people fell for the prank and raced to the idyllic clifftop area, a renowned beauty spot. Some people drove from hundreds of miles away, traveling for several hours to catch a glimpse of the iconic ship. The problem was that the area couldn't handle that magnitude of people visiting all at once. The weight of all the people there opened up a gigantic 2-meter crack at the cliff face. Coast Guards had to immediately evacuate the area and cordon it off. Less than an hour after the evacuation, the cliff face crumbled, sending large chunks of rock into the water 120 meters below. If Coast Guards hadn't been so quick to cordon off the area, it's probable that this April Fool could have had some extremely disastrous consequences.
Yeah, they're very lucky. They're very lucky that nothing, bad happened. Because if those people stood on there and, no one really noticed the crack, a lot of people could have died from that. So they're very lucky the Coast Guards were there.
Number 7. Deadline. April Fool's jokes among colleagues are nothing unusual, but few are quite as cruel as the prank played on Glenn Howlett. Glenn worked at London City Hall and was taking a well-deserved break abroad one March. He was relaxing by the pool one day when he received an urgent email from his colleagues saying that a major project he was working on was now due earlier than expected. Sadly, Glenn didn't notice anything fishy about the new April 1st deadline and cut his holiday short to complete his work. In rushing to finish the task, Glenn overexerted himself and became so stressed that he started having heart palpitations. He ultimately collapsed and ended up in hospital. Thankfully, he made a full recovery, But on learning that the whole thing had been a massive setup by his colleagues, he decided that he couldn't take any more of the harsh London working life and took early retirement. He also sued his former employer for the emotional damage that the April Fool caused.
Wow. Wow. I thought I was going to say that after he had heart palpitations, he then learned it was an April Fool's joke and had a heart attack, but he didn't, so I guess that's good.
Number 6. Assassination hoax. The history of the Middle East over the last century has been littered with conflict, tension and tragedy. It would therefore not be the ideal target for an April Fool's prank. Or so you would think. In April 1986, one Israeli intelligence officer for some reason thought it would be a good idea to send a fake report to a local radio station. The report said that Nabih Berri, leader of the Shiite Amal movement, had been seriously wounded in an assassination attempt. The report was then broadcast by the radio station in both Hebrew and English. When he heard it, Israeli Defense Minister Yitzhak Rabin interrupted a session of the Parliament's Defense and Foreign Affairs Committee. Knowing that an attack on Berri was likely to flare up tensions in the region, Rabin began making steps towards increasing militarization in Israel. It was at this point that the intelligence officer came forward to admit that he'd made up the report as a joke. He has since been court-martialed and served a 35-day detention sentence for his potentially violence-inducing April Fool.
Why would you do that? That's such a stupid idea. Did you not think of what was going to happen if you were to say that? I mean, you're broadcasting to everyone that some very important person was, like, assassinated or was attempted to be assassinated. People are going to believe that, and the news station didn't know better. They just were reporting what they heard, so... Oh my goodness.
Number 5. Prisoner release. In last year's April Fool's video, we told the story of a prank news report in Romania, which said that numerous prisoners were being freed from jail early. This was widely condemned for giving cruel false hope to inmates' friends and families. It'd be pretty stupid if someone else made that exact same mistake again, right? Enter Greater Manchester Police. The police unit from the UK got into hot water over an inconsiderate tweet they sent out on April Fool's Day, which said that people could vote for a prisoner to get early release. They said that the winning convict would receive a free holiday along with $600 of spending money. The stunt massively angered relatives of victims of crime, with one describing it as warped and many calling for the tweet to be removed. A spokesperson for Greater Manchester Police apologised for the tweet, saying it is never our intention to offend or cause upset to anyone. The individual officer who had posted the prank was banned from tweeting from the account again. Number 4. Firework Fools. April Fool's Day. Fireworks. Unsupervised college girls. What could possibly go wrong? In 2015, a group of girls from Grand Valley State University in Michigan decided to set off a small number of fireworks to trick other students into thinking that something more explosive was going on. One girl threw a firecracker at her roommate as part of the dangerous prank.
Why would you do that? You're in college, you're supposed to be educating yourself. How stupid are you? Firecrackers are dangerous. People blow their fingers off and stuff with them. And then you're like, you know what's funny? Let me just throw it at my friend. No!
Thankfully it missed that girl, but it did land in a laundry hamper, immediately setting the contents on fire. Firefighters had to be called and the building was evacuated. Thankfully the fire was contained to the upper level of the building and no one was hurt.
Well,
but some students weren't able to return to their dorms until a week later due to smoke damage. The girl who threw the firework didn't face legal charges, but she was reprimanded by the college and fined for the damage to the buildings. Number 3. Hanging.
She's lucky that her friend didn't, like, lose a finger or something, because what she did was very stupid.
What better way is there to prank your ex-wife than making her believe that you've killed yourself? Well, none, according to Randy Wood from New York. For April Fool's Day 2004, Randy contacted his ex-wife, telling her to come over because he had something to show her. He then rigged a harness in a tree in his front yard, which was attached to a fake noose, making it appear as though he'd hanged himself. Funnily enough, Randy's ex didn't quite see the hilarity of finding him apparently unconscious hanging in his garden. She called 911, and fire trucks, ambulances, and police cars came rushing to the scene.
Oh my goodness.
When it turned out that Randy had meant the whole thing as an April Fool, he was arrested for faking an incident to dispatch emergency services and fined $1,000. Still, an April Fool that involved someone actually putting a noose around their neck, I guess this prank could have gone horribly wrong in a much worse way. Number 1. April Fool Murderer. On April 1st, 2013, Lin Shenhao spiked the water dispenser at his flat at Shanghai University so that his roommate Wang Yang would drink from it. Lin claimed that he wanted the chemical to make the water taste funny and then have an unfortunate laxative effect on Wang.
Oh, this can't be good. For those of you who don't know, you can actually die from having diarrhea, or dysentery as it's called. If you lose too much water in your body, you become dehydrated, you can actually die from it, so I'm assuming something like that is gonna happen.
However, the effect of the prank was much worse than that. After 15 days of hospital treatment, Wang died of liver, kidney, and lung failure.
What?
Lynn was arrested for murder and, at trial, evidence was put forward to suggest that there was something more sinister going on than a simple April Fool gone horribly wrong. Prosecutors argued that, as he was a medical student and had used the chemical in lab experiments, he was familiar enough with it to know its effects.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So he did it as an April Fool's joke, but, you know, he worked with the chemical, so he obviously knew what it would do. So he murdered someone.
To explain that the dose he used was more than 10 times the fatal dose for an adult. He had even written a paper on the properties of MDMA, the chemical in question.
Yeah, he murdered. There's no question about it. He friggin' murdered.
Lynn was sentenced to the death penalty for intentional homicide and was executed in December 2015.
Wow.
Those were 10 more April Fools.
That last one, that is not even an April Fool's joke. That was someone just trying to murder someone and get away with it. That is crazy. He used 10 times the amount that it would kill someone. That's insane. There's no way he was doing that as an April Fool's joke. I don't believe that at all. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. A lot of these were so stupid. And the last one, that was just plain murder. That wasn't even an April Fool's joke. But anyway, if you did like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Possibly share with a friend. If you're new, hit subscribe and join the family today. And I'll see you guys next time. Boop!